Hey there, welcome to Relationship Wednesdays. I'm Cerise. This is my YouTube channel. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit like and also the notification bell. Gee, the story hasn't even started yet, and I have all this work for you. Well, there's been a lot of work in this relationship that I'm about to talk about. All right, as you can tell from the title, size ain't nothing but a number, you know. It is a little bit about size, and you can kind of put together the relationship and the size and all that stuff, okay? But let's get to the story. So we have two people, Sandra and Sandro, for confidentiality purposes. We're just going to give them different names. And Sandra and Sandro. So Sandro is from America and Sandra is from the Dominican Republic. I'm located in the Dominican Republic in a province called Puerto Plata in a town called Sosua, and I'm located in an area called Los Chiramicos. But these guys, they were located in El Bate. So Sandro, he came on vacation to Albate and he met Sandra. Now Sandra, she worked in one of the banks here and she helped him to open up a bank account. He was so happy because he's wanted to open up a bank account with an international account for a very, very long time. And she took him through the process and she spoke him through the process, and he doesn't speak any Spanish at all. So she kind of just gave him the feeling of comfort, home. And he was like, this feels so good. This woman is so sweet. So he said to her at the end of it all, he's like, do you have a husband, a boyfriend? And she's like, no, I don't. He's like, why? You're such a beautiful woman. You're not married? Like you don't have any children? Or she's like, I have one child, but my ex-husband took the child to America. And he said to her, wow, that's amazing. Like, I would have thought that men would have scooped you off your feet like a long time ago. You're a professional woman. You're beautiful. You're young. And she's like, I'm not interested. Like, I'm really not. I'm always busy. So skedaddle, pretty much. And he's like, oh, okay. He's like, well, I can't even take you out for a drink. And she's like, I don't drink. He said to her, he's like, so can I call you? And she's like, let me see your cell phone. And she took his cell phone and she put her private cell phone number in his cell phone. And then he called her that night and they started to hang out. They hung around hard for a whole entire 2 weeks. So finally she asked him, she's like, you've been here for 2 weeks, and even a week before that, you've been here for like 3 weeks total now. And I'm wondering, when are you going back to America? And he's like, that depends on you. And she's like, what do you mean? And he's like, I don't have anything to do in America. I run my own business. I run the business online. I don't have anything in America. I have no children, no wife. My mom just passed away. And, my apartment's sitting there. I rented it out for like as an Airbnb, and it's just getting rented out every day. But if you tell me that you don't want to have anything to do with me, then I'll go back to America. And she couldn't believe it. She was like, really? He's like, yeah, absolutely. Like, I like you that much. I would like to work it out with you. I don't mind staying here in the Dominican Republic. I have a really beautiful Airbnb here. And hey, I'm even thinking about buying something. And she was like, what? She really felt like this was too good to be true. And then he stayed because she was like, well, if you want to stay. And he stayed. So about 3 months into their relationship, she started to get nasty. And not nasty in a way where she was mean and dismissive and cheating and lying and stealing and being deceitful. Nothing like that. Just more moody. Like when a woman would be around him, she would like give a dirty look to the woman. Or if he, was gone somewhere too long, even if they were on their way to the grocery store, like this is a perfect example. They went to the grocery store and she needed something in the grocery store. And he's like, just sit here, just wait, because she was menstruating. and she had cramps. And he's like, you know what, you just sit here, wait, I'm going to go in the grocery store and get what you need, and I'm going to come back and you just wait. And she's like, okay. So he did, but there was a long lineup in the store. So she was waiting in the car, waiting in the car. Finally, she couldn't wait any longer. She got upset and she's thinking, what is he up to? So she automatically thought he was up to something. Seek and ye shall find. She walked into the grocery store and he was getting checked out at the same time. Now, of course, the cashier, she was a female, and she's laughing with him. And she's like laughing with Sandro, and she's flirting with Sandro, but Sandro's not flirting with her. Sandro's being kind to her, and he's like, okay, thank you. And he laughs and he goes to get his change, and he looks up and there's Sandra right there just glaring at him. Now she's full force in her emotions, and he looks at her and he's like, oh gosh. And he felt like he got caught doing something bad, but he wasn't really doing anything bad. And he didn't want to argue, he didn't want to fight. So they get back over to the car and she starts walking fast, like all of a sudden her menstrual cramps are gone. And then they get into the car and he's like, babe, listen, I know it looks like I was in there for a long time talking to the cashier. I really wasn't. Like, I was just cashing out when you came in. And she's like, well, how come there was no one behind you? You were the only one in the line. And that was true. He was the only one in the line because the cashier was closing the line because she was going on her break. And he said that to her. He's like, babe, she would just end it, the like line at me. He's like, I promise, I swear to you, I'm not lying. And he's like, come on, let's go in the grocery store right now. And I'm going to show you that her cashier, like her lane is closed. And she was like, no, I'm not going to do that. And he's like, babe, don't do this. We don't have to argue. This is ridiculous. I love you. You're the most beautiful woman I've ever been with. Why would I want that woman? I don't even know who she is. I've never even seen her before. She's like, you never seen me before you wanted me at the bank. And he's like, oh my gosh. He got out of the car. He went into the store. He videoed from the moment he went into the store. He went to the cashier and her lane was closed. And he turned back around and he walked back out to the car. And she's like, what are you doing? Why are you videoing? And he said, hold on 1 minute. And he showed her. The lane was closed. Like, that's it. And she was like, okay, well, I don't know if I should believe you. And he's like, I don't know why you wouldn't believe me. I don't know who hurt you. I don't know what's going on in your world. But for the last couple of weeks, you have been really acting raw and weird. And I don't appreciate it because I didn't do anything to you. And if someone else did something to you, that's them. That's not me. I love you. And she was like, well, I love you too, but all relationships, they have something wrong with them. And he's like, no, they don't. And she's like, yes, they do. Everybody has issues. And he's like, yes, they do. Everyone has their issues, but there are relationships that come together and those two people can become one and they help each other heal. He's like, everyone in this world has some type of neurotic tendency, and if not neurotic tendency, then they have some type of dislike, like whatever it is that they're dealing with in life. Everyone has some type of hurt. But when two people come together that love each other, they work on those hurts and they heal each other. And she looked at him and she's like, I don't know. And he's like, listen, I'm not in your life to hurt you. I'm in your life to love you. And you are already hurt. And he's like, you know what? If you want to tell me about that, I'll listen. You want to lay down in bed and let me rub your head? I will hear you. You can cry on my shoulder. I'll cook for you. I'll clean for you. I'll do everything for you. I just want to love you. You're everything I've ever wanted. She's like, why? Just because I'm beautiful? And he's like, well, you're funny and you're feisty and you're a go-getter and you live in a country that I love. You speak 3 languages. You're educated. And he's like, yeah, well, you're quite beautiful, yes. And she's like, well, what do you like the most? And he's like, you're a whole package, baby. and you're everything. You are my blessing. So, a few months more went by, and she started to really heal. She started to realize that love is possible. She started to realize that a man can be trusted. She started to recognize the fact that this man loves her, and she started to realize that he is not the cause of her pain, her hurt, her past animosity, but he is definitely put in her life to help her heal and get past whatever negativity someone came into her world and plunked on her. And not only that, after she started to realize that, he started to help her communicate with her ex. So then she started to gain more communication with her child in America. So he was like, look, babe, look who I found on Instagram. And she's like, how did you find them? He's like, well, you told me your ex's name a few times, and you also told me his nickname. So I decided to look it up on Instagram, and I found him. And she went to her cell phone, and right away she looked for the same name and she couldn't find it. And she's like, well, why can't I find it? And he's like, well, your ex probably has you blocked. And she's like, but I made other accounts. And he's like, well, on Instagram, you can block someone and their other accounts. And she was like, what? And he's like, yeah, babe, listen, I'm going to contact your child's father. I'm going to contact your son's father. And I'm just going to tell him the situation, that I'm with you now and I can be a mediator between the two of you. And that, you know what, no matter what happened between you and your ex, your son deserves a mother. And she was like, you'll do that for me? He said, absolutely, that would be my pleasure. And she's like, really? And he did do that. And guess what? The ex was receptive. The ex was like, wow, how did this woman ever find a man like this? He's so patient, he's so kind, he's so loving, he's so giving, and he's also intelligent. And he also wants to see her heal, and he also wants to see the son reconnect with the mom. And that's what he did. And not only that, the father in America came back to the Dominican Republic after 2 years for a visit. He left the baby. Well, the baby's not a baby any longer. The son's 5 years old. But he left the son in Sosua with Sandro and said to Sandro, listen, you and I have been talking for months on the phone. I can see that you are a very good healing mechanism for Sandra. I'm trusting that you're going to watch things and you're going to be like an hawk, an eagle over this situation. He's like, I'm going to go to Santo Domingo. I'm going to visit my friends in Santo Domingo. I haven't been here for 2 years. So I'm going to go and I'm going to leave my son in your care with Sandra. And Sandra said, you know what? You can definitely do that. Sandra's not going to hurt her son. She's not ever going to hurt her son. She was hurting because of the relationship with you. And he's like, well, yeah. He's like, but you know what? Her and I, we weren't serious about each other. I met her when I was in the Dominican Republic, and I was just going around the island, having fun, looking for different women to be with. And I told her that I wasn't serious about a relationship. I told her I wasn't going to be with her. I told her that my life is in America. And she acted up, and she decided to kick her feet up, and she decided to keep my child away from me. And I proved that she was unfit, and I was able to take my son to America. And this is the first time that I'm coming back since I've done it. So, buddy, I'm expecting you to hold it down. So imagine the dad, he must have really trusted Sandro, right? Like big time. And Sandro's like, listen, I got your back. Sandra is a completely different woman now. I love her. And I'm not going around the island with different women. I'm dedicated to Sandra. And she knows that. She can feel that. I am honored to be her man. And I'm also honored to be the man that's going to be in your son's life when you're not around. And guess what? Everything has been gravy ever since. You see, sometimes in life, when we are hurt as human beings, all we need is someone to come in our life and remind us that that hurt is only an experience, circumstances that we went through, a situation that we experienced in life. And Sandra was just sitting around, blaming every man, hating on every man, and saying to herself that they're all dogs, they're all players. But it took one man that dedicated himself to love her, to hold her, to honor her, to believe in her, cherish her, and commit to her, to make her realize that love is worth investing in and also healing for. Guys, if you are in a relationship where you feel insecure and you're taking the past and you're bringing it into the present, and then you're just mixing it all up like a ball of negativity, and you are about to throw that ball into the future, don't do it. I'm a soul coach, and I talk to people all the time about their relationships, every single day. And I hear different things from different people, men and women, no matter if they are straight or if they're into their same gender. The same thing is all around the world. Trust is important. Love is vulnerable. But when you have somebody in your life and they are giving you their heart, their word, their honesty, and their dedication to you, at least pull back on the anger and all of your suspicion. Get rid of it. Throw it out the door. Have faith, not fear. And just say, I am worthy of love. I am capable of being a better person in the arms of that person. Last week I did a story for Relationship Wednesdays, and the woman, she put fear instead of faith. And she lost a very good man. And that is such a common story. Everyone that gets involved in a relationship that has been hurt before tends to bring that hurt right into the next relationship. And they move forward with that hurt like a snowball, just going through relationship to relationship, repeating the same old patterns, not realizing that this is a new relationship and this is a new person. So do yourself a favor and say to yourself, I deserve love. And not only that, this person deserves trust until they give me a reason not to trust them. And if they give you that reason, then it's up to you to remove yourself from the situation or to deal with the situation with class and not trash. Okay, that's for another story. But today, I just wanted to say to you guys, don't be afraid to love. And on top of it, believe in yourself. You are worthy of love. Look in the mirror and tell yourself that today. See, I love love stories. Guys, my name is Cerise Fairfax. This is my YouTube channel. And I want you to go ahead, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, punch that like button, and also go ding, 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 ding on the notifications. So guys, I want you to join me tomorrow. Tomorrow I am doing Talk Show Thursdays, where we are going to watch a segment from my television show. I have a television show here in the Dominican Republic called Living Good, where we talk to people who are living right here in the Dominican Republic. We specialize on the show in real estate, relocation. We also specialize in talking to locals, expats, and people who visit here. If you would like to be a guest on my show, make sure you hit me up. My number is right here, and my information is going to be in the description as well. Alrighty, guys, take care of yourself. I upload every single day of the week, so make sure you join me every day. Mwah. I love you. Again, huge hugs, loads of love, and big blesses.
Speaking about relationships, take a look at these distant bracelets. They're for men and women. For those of you who have a loved one somewhere and you just want to be reminded of them every day and you want to share something the same. They are semi-precious gems. They're not plastic. They are real stone. And they're also stretchy so they can fit any wrist. They're wonderful to show your love and sentiment. Please contact the number on the screen via WhatsApp and make your order today.